to avoid carrying money in your pocket. But as your purse is quite empty at the present moment, you must allow me to press these 25 roubles upon your acceptance, as something to begin with. Of course we will settle this little matter another time, and if you are the upright, honest man you look, I anticipate very little trouble between us on that score. Taking so much interest in you as you may perceive I do, I am not without my object, and you shall know it in good time. You see, I am perfectly candid with you. I hope, Gania, you have nothing to say against the prince's taking up his abode in your house." "Oh, on the contrary, my mother will be very glad," said Gania, courteously and kindly. "I think only one of your rooms is engaged as yet, is it not? That fellow Ferdishenko." "Yes, I don't like that Ferdishenko. I can't understand why Nastasia Philipovna encourages him so. Is he really her cousin, as he says?" "Oh dear no, it's all a joke. No more cousin than I am." "Well, what do you think of the arrangement, prince?" "Thank you, General. You have behaved very kindly to me. All the more so since I did not ask you to help me. I don't say that out of pride. I certainly did not know where to lay my head tonight. Rogojin asked me to come to his house, of course, but—" "Rogojin? No, no, my good fellow. I should strongly recommend you, paternally, or, if you prefer it, as a friend, to forget all about Rogojin, and in fact to stick to the family in which you are about to enter." "Thank you," began the prince, "and since you are so very kind, there is just one matter which I—" "You really must excuse me," interrupted the general, "but I positively haven't another moment now. I shall just tell Elizabetha Prokofievna about you, and if she wishes to receive you at once, as I shall advise her, I strongly recommend you to ingratiate yourself with her at the first opportunity, for my wife may be of the greatest service to you in many ways. If she cannot receive you now, you must be content to wait till another time. Meanwhile you, Gania, just look over these accounts, will you? We mustn't forget to finish off that matter." The general left the room, and the prince never succeeded in broaching the business which he had on hand, though he had endeavoured to do so 4 times. Gania lit a cigarette and offered one to the prince. The latter accepted the offer, but did not talk, being unwilling to disturb Gania's work. He commenced to examine the study and its contents. But Gania hardly so much as glanced at the papers lying before him. He was absent and thoughtful, and his smile and general appearance struck the prince still more disagreeably now that the two were left alone together. Suddenly Gania approached our hero, who was at the moment standing over Nastasia Philipovna's portrait, gazing at it. "Do you admire that sort of woman, prince?" he asked, looking intently at him. He seemed to have some special object in the question. "It's a wonderful face," said the prince, "and I feel sure that her destiny is not by any means an ordinary, uneventful one. Her face is smiling enough, but she must have suffered terribly. Hasn't she? Her eyes show it, those 2 bones there, the little points under her eyes, just where her cheek begins. It's a proud face too, terribly proud. And I can't say whether she is good and kind or not. Oh, if she be but good, that would make all well." "And would you marry a woman like that now?" continued Gania, never taking his excited eyes off the prince's face. "I cannot marry at all," said the latter. "I am an invalid." "Would Rogojin marry her, do you think?" "Why not? Certainly he would, I should think. He would marry her tomorrow. Marry her tomorrow and murder her in a week." Hardly had the prince uttered the last word when Gania gave such a fearful shudder that the prince almost cried out. "What's the matter?" said he, seizing Gania's hand. "Your Highness, "His excellency begs your presence in her excellency's apartments," announced the footman, appearing at the door. The prince immediately followed the man out of the room. Chapter 3 Recording by Martin Geeson in Haslemere, Surrey.